Hello there everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Amiibo here, and today we are doing another video game collection update. I didn't post one of these at all in April, so we have a lot to get into, mostly PlayStation 5, really been focusing on PlayStation over the past couple of months. Really since the end of last year, I've been much more PS4 and PS5 focused. That will likely change when the Switch 2 releases. We'll start going back to Switch and Switch 2 a lot more there, but we have a lot of PS5 to get into, a couple of Nintendo things, and most importantly, I got another holy grail on Wii, arguably two. One of them isn't like too hard to get, but one of them is pretty hard to find and expensive. So I finally bought a Wii game that was at the top of my priority list when it comes to first-party Nintendo collecting. But we'll start off with the PlayStation stuff and a little bit of Nintendo here. So last video, I think it was the last video, I showed off that my copies of Personas had come from limited run, Persona 3 portable on Switch as well as PS4. Well, in April, we finally had Persona 4 Golden come in, so I finally have physicals of all the Persona games that are available on these platforms. I don't have Persona 4 Ultimax, that is available on Switch, but super happy to add these to the collection. These were actually the last orders I had from limited run, so it's weird to not have any that I'm like waiting on. I originally had ordered some of the Yakuza stuff, and then I canceled it because I was like, honestly, I'll just order it through Video Games Plus when they inevitably have it, you know? But I also ordered these back in 2023. This is when they had all the Persona stuff up. At the end of 2023, when they did Persona 3 and 4, they had these slipcovers, so super happy to add all this Persona stuff to the collection. These are a little silly, but I was already checking out on Limited Run's website, so I figured why not. I think they were like $10 each to add the slipcovers. Really should have just been like a free bonus if you bought both games or something, I feel like, but for 10 bucks, I figured why not get some cool slipcovers for these games. Now, this will be the bulk of this video, but we have a lot of PlayStation stuff here, and as you can see, there's some PS4. So, starting off, a pretty big one for the PS4 collection, I did find a copy of Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 for quite a bit below the going rate on price rating. This is a pretty expensive PS4 game. At first, I thought they delisted it, but I don't think that's actually the case, so I'm not sure why this in particular is so pricey. But if you've been following the videos for a while now, you'll know that I've been on a pretty big fighting game kick over the past several months, and this is one that I knew I wanted to get for the collection. As you can see, it includes a special comic in there as well for the game. You got Morgan there talking to Spidey, classic duo right there. But yeah, this is a pretty cool PS4 piece for the sets. I have not had a chance to put it in yet, but I was playing a lot of that Marvel vs. Capcom collection that came out last year, and I definitely am a big fan of the series, so excited to play this finally. I also picked up a PSVR 1 game. I have not played my PSVR in many years, probably in over 5, I want to say, maybe since before the PS5 came out. I might have hooked it up once on PS5 with that weird adapter they had, but From Software released a PSVR game back in the day called Dynasty. I think that's how you pronounce it, Dynasty. This is like a classic adventure game where I think you help out orphans or something. This is one I was always interested in checking out because the From Software that I know are the Souls making, Armored Core making From Software. But back on the PS1, they were making a lot of weird stuff. You had your King's Field, but they also did stuff like Echo Knights. And there was that PS2 game, I think it's called Evergrace, that I found at the Goodwill outlet a while back. Dynasty, that's one I've always been very curious about because it's so different from what modern From Software makes. So this is one I'm excited to check out next time I plug in the PSVR 1. I've heard it is very short and it is a very easy platinum. So honestly, the next time I plug that PSVR in, this is what it's going to be for, to finally play through this weird From Software game that came out, I want to say in 2017 or so. And now we are on to the PS5 games that I added to the collection. Quite a few new releases here, and there's still stuff that I want to check out, like Indiana Jones I didn't grab, but the game of the month, or the game of April, but really May also, people are still talking about this game like an unreal amount. I never thought it would blow up the way it did. Of course, I had to pick up Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I'm only a few hours into this game, but it is really, really good. Like, the hype is real. The reason for the hype is totally justified. From what I've played of it so far, it's really good. If you like RPGs at all, turn-based combat, but also some real-time elements in there, I recommend just going into this game without really looking into it. It's only 50 bucks versus the standard 70, or I guess 80 now, that most games costs. I know this physical is starting to get a little hard to find just because of the sheer demand and the hype around it. So I'll have more thoughts at the end of the month when I do my games I played in May video, hoping to finish it up before Doom comes out in a couple of days here, or in like a week or so. But Expedition 33, I totally had to add that to the collection, and I'm excited to play more of it and give you my thoughts at the end of the month. Another newer release on PS5, this one released at the end of March, I want to say. I wasn't planning on picking it up on day one, however, there was an Amazon price error a while back, like I think late last year when it was announced for the release dates. I think the retail's 60, but there was a price error making it either 30 or 40, and I locked in that pre-order. I probably wouldn't have bought it day one otherwise. I played a couple hours of it so far. I'm not a huge fan, but we have Bleach Rebirth of Souls. Yeah, I'm a pretty big Bleach fan. I like Bleach a lot. However, I don't know, maybe I'm just not in the right vibe, the right mood for my 3D arena fighting anime games. Usually I eat this stuff up. I love my Naruto Storm. Sparking Zero last year was a lot of fun. Something about this one though, from what I played, I'm just like not super feeling it. I'm really happy there's a new Bleach game. Don't get me wrong. Like, we really haven't had like a proper Bleach console game in America, really, ever. I mean, there was a couple things. There was the Wii game. There was Bleach Soul Resurrection, which was a Warriors game on PS3, which I actually really liked. It wasn't made by Koei Tecmo, but it was basically a Warriors game, hack and slash, right? This is a more of a traditional 3D fighter, and I mean, it's fine. I don't know. I just feel like something feels off about it. Like, it's missing some sort of sauce. It's the same way I felt when I played the My Hero One's Justice game, where I'm like, I guess I'm just so spoiled by CyberConnect 2 and what they do with the Naruto Storm games, but also Demon Slayer now. It's nowhere near that level. It's just nowhere near that level. I have to say it, but I do want to play more of it. I do want to finish up the story mode. The story mode is apparently like really long or something like that. Is what I heard. So, eventually I will come back around. I'll go through a little Bleach phase as I always do. I'll reread the manga or, introduce the anime to Olivia or something. And at that point, I will probably come back to this game and I'll probably really enjoy it at that moment, but as it was in late March, all the Switch 2 hype was happening. I tried to play this and I was like, I'm not feeling it right now. Next up, we have 3 Koei Tecmo titles. One is an old game, 2 are new releases from Play Asia that I ordered a while back. I want to say back in January. But I picked up a copy of Wolong Fallen Dynasty here because if you've been watching these videos, I've been on a huge Koei Tecmo binge recently, just really getting more acquainted with this company and the games they create from all of their developers, from all the different titles they publish. And I wanted to check out Wolong because I want to say a month or two ago, I had a little thing there with Liza P. I was like, whoa, Liza P is really good. I fell off of it because there's a lot of stuff happening. But Wolong is one that I completely missed, and I feel like most people weren't talking about. However, Koei Tecmo released like some stats of their sales, and it said Wolong had 5 million players. Now, to be fair, it was on Game Pass, but I looked up the reviews and I'm like, whoa, this game actually reviewed really well. Let's check it out. And I played a couple hours of it, and it's really good. From what I played, I was liking it more than Neo, which honestly, when I played Neo back in 2017, I think when that game came out, I wasn't super feeling it. I don't know why. Maybe I should go back to it and try it out again. And I'm sure I would, now, after becoming more of a Souls fan and everything, I would like these games more. But from what I played of Wolong, pretty cool. And also, I wanted to pick up the physical because it seems to be getting a little bit harder to find. The truth of the matter, when it comes to most PS5 games, is PS5 might end up being like the true final collector's console. I'm going to collect for Switch 2, no doubt about it, especially first-party games. However, with the game keycard drama right now, I think a lot of people are going to look to PS5 as this is really the final console to collect for when it comes to like owning your games to a certain extent. Obviously, not all games are on there. This one, and this specific example specifically says like, oh yeah, internet required. I'm not sure if that's just for the online multiplayer. I don't remember when I installed it if it was, working off the disc. But I think PS5 is going to become like the real console to collect for, especially since it is going to be the best way to play most of these games off of a disc or a physical format. Even the Switch 2 is less powerful. So even though I'm a Nintendo boy at heart, I think I'm going to focus more on PlayStation 5 moving forward in general, because I just feel like this is going to be the console to collect for with all of the game key card stuff going on. Of course, to be fair, there are PS5 games that aren't all on the disc, but most of them are. But that aside, yeah, I wanted to pick up Wolong because I noticed there weren't really that many copies listed on eBay even for an ESRB copy. There is like a deluxe edition steelbook. That one was really expensive. I was not going to swing the extra like $50 for that. That definitely wasn't worth it. I think I paid $35 for this on Mercari, I want to say, and I'm happy with that. I'm definitely going to play through this game in full one of these days. Not right now. There's too much stuff coming out, but as someone who's been getting more into Dynasty Warriors and stuff, and also just the Romance of the Three Kingdoms setting and learning about all this history and stuff, it's cool that there's a Souls game where you can fight Lu Bu and it's like a Souls-like. I'm really, really into that. And then we have the 2 imported titles from them over on PlayAsia. First up, we have Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. This shadow dropped back in January, and PlayAsia had the physical release for it, so I immediately pre-ordered it because Ninja Gaiden is a series that, admittedly, I'm not like super familiar with up until recently, but Ninja Gaiden 4 was announced. I'm like, oh snap, I need to catch up on these games. And I played a good bit of Ninja Gaiden 2 Black when it came out. Shout out to Koei Tecmo for the review code. I streamed it on my other channel for a little bit, and I was really enjoying it, but I stopped halfway through because I was like, you know what, I should play through these in order in preparation for Ninja Gaiden 4 later this fall. So I stopped Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. I'm going to start playing through Ninja Gaiden 1. I think it's Sigma is the one that's in the PS4 collection, then play 2 Black, then play 3 Razor's Edge in preparation for Ninja Gaiden 4. But super happy that this got a physical, you know? Koei Tecmo doing all these Asian English releases is very cool. I hope this one ends up coming to Switch 2 just because I want to see more Koei Tecmo stuff on Switch 2. I hope it gets a proper physical, right? It doesn't seem like Koei Tecmo is doing the on-cartridge thing when it comes to Switch 2, which is disappointing, but definitely happy to add this one to the collection. And then another Koei Tecmo game, I'm going to be honest, I added this to the cart because I wanted to hit free shipping, and I'm like, maybe I'll check that out. You're going to judge me. You're going to judge me for this one, but it is another Koei Tecmo game that I think released back in March. We have Dead or Alive, Extreme Prism, Venus Vacation. So this is the Dead or Alive spin-off series of like volleyball games, but it's based on all the girls, and you're on a beach, and yeah, you get the vibe. You get the vibe for this one. I was buying Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, and I'm like, well, you know, it says add to cart right there. Might as well check this one out. Venus Vacation, Dead or Alive, Extreme Prism. Early purchase bonus. Got some outfits for one of the characters, I think. And then from there, just a couple of cheaper PS5 games that I picked up, miscellaneous games here and there. These 2 were in a Video Games Plus order, so they had this for like $15. Stray, one out on PS5. I played through this game when it came out back in, I want to say 2022. It's fine. I definitely think it's overrated. Definitely was not a Game of the Year contender. Are we kidding? What are we doing? That should not be on there. But it was a fun game. I enjoyed it. It was cute. So I wanted to add the physical of this to the collection, but also from BGP. I was buying these games on Switch, but talking about PS5 collecting and moving forward with PS5, I think I'm going to move to buying them on PS5. So VGP had this up from limited run. Star Wars Dark Forces remaster. Big fan of Doom and Doom-likes, and this is a Doom-like. This one was announced in a Nintendo Direct, I want to say, and I was like, oh, that looks really cool. So happy to add this to the collection. Definitely been on a bit of a Star Wars kick recently. Star Wars is tricky for me because I really want to be fully enveloped in the Star Wars like fandom. I wish it were that simple for me because I feel like true Star Wars fans are just so happy because they're just constantly being fed. I'm a weird Star Wars fan. I don't like the prequels. Revenge of the Sith is fine. Original trilogy is pretty good, and I'm gonna say it, I really like the sequels, especially Last Jedi, and Force Awakens is really good as well. Rise of Skywalker, yeah, there's definitely issues with that movie, but I still enjoyed watching it more than like any of the prequels, for example, even if the Palpatine stuff is really bad. So I'm a weird Star Wars fan. I've tried watching the shows, and I don't know how I feel about that. Even Andor, I watched the first episode of, and I was like, I don't know. I want to like Star Wars, though. And the games I've been meaning to just get more into. I love Battlefronts. I like what I played of the Jedi games that Respawn are doing. So I want to go back and play more of this old stuff. There's a Nintendo Switch trial right now for Star Wars Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles, I think it was, and I was playing that to get the platinum points, and I was like, you know, this is just kind of a crummy 3D brawler game, but I'm kind of into it. So honestly, beyond the movies and the shows, I think I just want to get more into the Star Wars games because there's so many. Republic Commando is one that I mess around with that I've always wanted to play more of. Force Unleashed I actually played for the first time when that came to Switch a couple of years back, so the Star Wars games I want to get more into, which is why I picked up Dark Forces Remastered. Talked about this in the games I played in April video, but Minecraft on PS5, of course, hype from the movie. There's a hair on it. Hype from the movie. Olivia's a huge Minecraft fan, so we've been playing this. Well, she's playing the Switch version. I'm playing the PS5 version. I was gonna buy it digitally, but it was like $20, and this was, I think, 25 or 30. So I was like, I'm just gonna buy it physically because I never actually owned Minecraft on PlayStation before, and she was playing the Switch version, and I don't have it on PC or anything. So I was like, yeah, I'll just buy it on PS5. I'd prefer to play it on PS5. And honestly, maybe go for the Platinum eventually. You have to do a lot of stuff, though, so I'm not sure how soon that'll be happening. This one just came in today as of when I'm recording, but Sword Art Online Fractured Daydream physically on PS5 here. I talked about this game a lot last year when it came out. I played it. I had it digitally on PS5. And Woot, Amazon's little Woot like discount bargain websites, they had this, I think, for $15. So I was like, you know what? I'll just go ahead and add that because Sword Art Online, not an anime I'm super into or anything. However, the game was a lot of fun. I've always wanted to get more into the games, and that started really last year when I played Fractured Daydream. I doubt it's still active. I can't imagine it really is. But I had a lot of fun just doing like the boss raids over and over, grinding them, leveling up my character. I was playing as the sniper character. I don't even remember her name. It's not like the highest quality game, but I had fun with it when I played it back in October of last year. And speaking of games that aren't the highest quality, but I actually really enjoy, this one came out at the beginning of 2023, and I actually bought it back then and sold it before the price plummeted because the reviews were really bad and people were being really mean to it. But I actually did a review of it on my main channel, Botox Games, when reviews were still going up over there. And recently I saw it on eBay, I think it was $10 free shipping, and I was like, you know what, this is a game I actually liked. I'm a defender of this game. I want to add it to the collection, maybe replay it eventually, or maybe go for the platinum or something. But we have Forspoken. Yeah, I like Forspoken. It's a perfect 7 to me. This is a perfect 7 out of 10 game, in my opinion. The dialogue is cringe, but honestly, it looks pretty nice. And just like the magic abilities you have, like it's very flashy. I actually like Forspoken a lot more than people give it credit for. I think it's a lot better than people give it credit for. People act like this is the bane of the PS5, like, oh, this is a 4 out of 10. I don't know, man. I think it's a 7 out of 10, which to most people means 4 out of 10 because they're like, oh, if it's not an 8, it must be garbage. But I think Forspoken, if you get it for $10 like I did here, definitely has some merit, definitely worth checking out, especially if you're a big fan of Luminous Productions like I am, because I also really enjoy Final Fantasy 15. I'm one of those people. And then final PS5 game, once again, talking about PS5 prices in general going up because it will likely be the final true console to collect for. Talked about this a lot in my March games I played video, but I rediscovered my love for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. I had it on PS4, but they did release a physical here on PS5, and I was really struggling to get a copy of this one on PS5. I just wanted to have it because I'm a big Tony Hawk fan, and I wanted to have the best possible version on disc, even though this one does require content download, as you can see there, so I guess it's not fully on there. Not a huge issue for me. I know a lot of people don't like physical media that's like that. But this one was hard to find after 3+4 was announced. In fact, I was seeing copies sell for like $70. I got this for 20 on Mercari, I want to say, and I had like some credit in there or whatever. So it was fine. You can get a copy for cheap, but it just wasn't popping up. Like, it was just selling out immediately. I haven't checked it in a few weeks since I found this, but I can't imagine they're going to reprint it because it's Activision and they don't seem to really play ball with physical collectors. So happy to add this to the collection, and I popped it in, and honestly, like, you wouldn't think, okay, this Tony Hawk remake needs the PS5. And like, yeah, you're definitely going to be fine playing it on PS4. It actually ran decently better on PS5. I was kind of surprised when I popped it and I was like, oh, this actually is a pretty big difference, more than I expected anyway. I wasn't really expecting any difference. I just wanted to have the PS5 version just because, but it's actually a pretty noticeable difference. Okay, that is it for all of the PlayStation stuff, or I should say most of it. We do have some Thrifted Games here to go over, but also this month's Nintendo Force came in. I figure I should start showing these off when they come in. Not sponsored by Nintendo Force, but I do appreciate a good Nintendo Power clone coming in my mailbox every 2 months. They have their Switch 2 issue here. I've not cracked it open yet. It just came in a couple days ago, but excited to flip through this and just look at the pretty images and just kind of, you know, read the little articles they have about Switch 2. Highly recommend Nintendo Force if you grew up with Nintendo Power and you are a Nintendo Power kid, or I guess like PlayStation Magazine or all these other different things. Nintendo Force doing a great job. And then, yeah, I have a little stack here of Thrifted Games. Nothing too crazy. Just wanted to go over them real quick. A sealed copy of Uno 52 on DS. This was $1. Can't pass up a sealed DS game, but also Terraria on PS4. You know, I never really got into Terraria. This case definitely needs a swap. It looks like the box art might also be ripped. I should say all of these Thrifted Games were $1 each, so not too bad. Terraria on PS4, why not? Add it to the collection there. Excited about this one, since I'm talking about all these fighting games. I actually had this on PS3 as a kid, and I don't really remember playing it that much, but I know I had it. Maybe it was my brother's or something, but Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe on PS3 here. Very cool to get this all nice and complete. And then 3 Wii games that were found at the Goodwill bins. We have Tony Hawk's Downhill Jam. I don't know if this is one that really uses the skateboard, like the skateboard peripheral. It says 4 Wiimotes on the back, so I guess it works with regular Wiimotes. I don't know if this game is good, but Tony Hawk in a Tony Hawk face, I guess, here for $1 at the bins. I've never played this game. I figured that was fun to check out. This one I played on 3DS, Raving Rabbids Travel in Time, I should say, sorry. So this one I think is actually a party game, right? Like the other Rabbids games on Wii, but I never tried the Wii version. I played the 3DS version when I was a kid because it was one of the first 3DS games that came out after launch. I want to say 3DS launched in March, early March in America, and that game came out on 3DS in April, and it was like a 2D platformer. I think it might have actually been an auto runner. I can't fully remember, but I had it on 3DS as a kid. Thought it was fun. Saw it at the bins for $1. Sure, why not? And then finally, this one always disappointed me when I was younger. I had it on, I guess, PS2 probably, but I love The Simpsons. Simpsons is one of my favorite shows ever, especially seasons like 1 through 14, we'll say. People always say 1 through 10. I think like 1 through 14, I'll give it a little bit more of a grace period. So I loved Hit and Run growing up, as well as Road Rage. This one never really did it for me, but for $1 on Wii, I figured why not here? The Simpsons game for the Wii. I'm not sure if the Wii version's as comparable to like the 360. I know on 360, I think this game's actually pretty pricey, but for $1 on Wii, yeah, not gonna pass that up. Okay, and then finally we have 3 very cool Nintendo games I added to the collection, all 3 of which are just my current hyperfixations in general. Well, 2 of them are kind of the similar thing here. So I actually imported a Japanese GBA game. I'm so surprised they haven't added it to Switch Online yet, and I think they will in the next year or so. But I want to play this game because I've never actually played the original, and that is Rhythm Tengoku. I got a complete in-box copy of the original Rhythm Heaven, or in this case, Rhythm Tengoku on GBA. Yeah, did you know that? Did you know that Rhythm Heaven started on GBA? You probably knew that, but we didn't get it on GBA in America. It wasn't until Rhythm Heaven on the DS that we started getting these games. And of course, with Rhythm Heaven Groove coming out, I'm like, you know what? It's time for me to go back, finish up the Rhythm Heaven collection. And I'm really happy to finally have this. I've not had a chance to play it yet, but I'm very excited to. By the time I play it, it'll probably come to Switch Online, honestly, because it's a rhythm game. You don't need to, read it, so they don't need a translator or anything. You can get through it without reading, but still very happy to add this one to the Nintendo collection. But more importantly, I've talked many times on this channel about one of my biggest regrets as a kid, and that was selling Rhythm Heaven Fever. I found it at a GameStop, I think for $1. I'm pretty sure it was actually $1 because, late life Wii release, no one bought it on Wii. Bought it for $1. At some point, I sold it for probably $7 or something like that. And over the years, it has just gone straight up. Well, when Rhythm Heaven Groove was announced, I was like, you know what? I'm not playing this game. I'm not messing with this. Rhythm Heaven is one of my favorite Nintendo franchises. I need to get that game back. So I got a massive Wii grail here in the form of Rhythm Heaven Fever for the Nintendo Wii. So with that, my Rhythm Heaven collection is complete. I talked about it in a video maybe earlier this year, back in January. I bought the 3DS game. So between the DS original that Olivia got me for Christmas a couple years back and the 3DS game, I now have all of the Rhythm Heaven games, which just feels right. Rhythm Heaven is a series that I deeply adore, and, even though I haven't played this one, and it's been a long time since I played this one, I'm just so happy to have them all again, and I will be replaying all of them in preparation for Rhythm Heaven Groove next year. I cannot believe they're making a new one. I'm so happy they're making a new one, but yeah, happy to get this. Really one of the last really expensive Wii games that I was missing. There's another one we're about to talk about that's not too cheap, but after getting this, I think the most expensive Wii game I'm missing now that I actually care about getting is Radiant Dawn. However, I'm at a point with Wii and especially GameCube where I think I might just wait because we're getting GameCube NSO. That will inevitably make the prices go down a little bit. And I don't think Wii is too far off. I think we will get Wii games added to the Nintendo Classics line within the decade, at which point like a Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn will probably go down, and frankly maybe a Rhythm Heaven Fever will go down as well. So now that I have that and this next game, I think I'm pretty much good on Wii and GameCube. I don't really want to add much more, except for a couple things. I might get Punch Out. I don't have that game, but I don't want to spend up too much. Like Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn, I don't think I'm going to spend over $100 on that game because I think it will go down eventually. But final pickup for this video, I have been just on a huge Kirby binge in terms of just wanting Kirby. I want to play Kirby so bad. I love Kirby. Kirby's a series that I wasn't really into for a long time. It wasn't until Olivia moved in. I feel like Olivia moving in transform my perception of Kirby. I'm like, oh, actually cute things are really cute. And she has like a little Kirby keychain and stuff. We played Star Allies together. I think it's really just sharing the joy of Kirby with her that has made me like Kirby so much more. And now I'm just like, damn, Kirby's one of my favorite boys ever. I love Kirby so much. So playing through Crystal Shards right now, I talked about that last month, at the end of last month. Very, very excited for the new Forgotten Land content, but also Kirby Air Riders. One of the Wii games that I've been wanting to get for a long time, I always wanted this as a kid, is the Kirby Dream Collection, that special 20th anniversary Kirby big box they did on Wii. Well, I finally bought it. I figured, you know what? It's time. Saw this listing pop up on eBay, and it is like super duper clean. Usually the ones you see on there are overpriced, but also like the outer box is pretty crushed. This one, I almost just dropped it there. This one's really clean, like the corners and everything. I think I paid $70 for it, which is obviously that's over MSRP for what it launched at $50 back then. But I've seen copies go as high as like $100 in way worse shape. So super happy to add this. In fact, I probably should open it up because you know what? I haven't even done that yet. So we'll see if I'm leaving this seller a good review. This is just a simple collection that they did for Wii. Not dissimilar to a Mario All-Stars back then. This one has a little bit more going on though, because as you can see, here is the regular case for it. But also, so they have a bunch of the games here: Dreamland 1, 2, Kirby's Adventure, Superstar, Dreamland 3, and 64. But there's also these challenge stages and the little Kirby History Museum thing. I'm not sure about the challenge stages. Someone can let me know, because I am, I guess, a newer Kirby fan. Did they add those challenge stages to Return to Dreamland Deluxe? Are those in there? Because it's using the Kirby Wii engine. Like, it's just that straight up Return to Dreamland. But there's just some new stages in this 20th anniversary collection. I feel like if I were Nintendo, if I were HAL, I would have added those to Return to Dreamland Deluxe. So maybe they didn't, I already played them and I don't remember that. Or maybe I have some new 2D Kirby content to play, which I'd be very excited about. Either way, I wanted to grab this. It also comes with this cool little art book here, and a little anniversary thing, going over some concept art and things like that. So yeah, super happy as a blossoming Kirby fan over the past 5 years to get this one that I missed when I was younger. Shout out to my goat, Cowboy Kirby, dude. Literally the best character design of all time. Alrighty, folks, that is going to do it for this collection update. You might have noticed, aside from Persona 4, no Switch stuff. Been just not really collecting much Switch. I think I might have enough to squeeze a Switch collection update at the end of the month, or right before the Switch 2 comes out. A final hurrah for Switch 1 collecting before Switch 2, if you will. So we'll see if that actually ends up happening. I might just save that stuff for one later down the line in June. I have like 4 Switch games, so I figure I might just save it for like a dedicated final Switch 1 collecting video. But that is going to do it. Let me know your thoughts on my pickups, but also what you guys have added to your collections in the comments down below. I would love to see what you have added to yours. What games have you picked up? What new releases? What retro games have you gone back and bought? Let me know down there. Of course, you can subscribe here for more Nintendo and PlayStation collecting content. Follow me on Twitter at BoTalksGames. Check out my other channel at BoTalksGames as well. And you can click on one of these 2 videos to listen to me ramble about even more collecting stuff. Until next time, folks. Peace.